The next application that I want to discuss, is FTP, file transfer application, and the protocol that is used by such applications is called file transfer protocol. Okay, so this file transfer protocol, it has three basically components. First we have the user. First we have the user host, or the FTP user interface here, right? And then we have the FTP client side, and then we have the server, where we are storing the files, or where we can upload a file, or where we can download a file from, right? So details of RFCs are there in RFC 959. The FTP, we established two TCP connections in order to make a transfer from server to the host, or host to the server. So instead of one TCP connection, here we have how many number of TCP connections? We have two TCP connections here. So if I want to make a transfer on this FTP, first I will establish a TCP connection on port 21, right? And this TCP connection is for or is called control connection. Control connection means what? That it will contain all the control information, such as identification, passwords, command to change remote directory, command to put or get files, right? So these are all different control commands here. So it will establish a TCP connection through which we'll send passwords, usernames. We will set commands to change the directory, or to put or get files command, right? And actual data will be transferred from a FTP client to an FTP server, or from FTP server to FTP client, will be made on another TCP connection that is established on port 20. So this connection is for data transfer. So if I want to use TCP, it has what it has. I need to establish. If I'm using an FTP application, I need to establish two TCP connections. One for the control information on port 21, another for the control information on port, another for the data transfer on port port 20, right? Since we we have two separate connections here, the control information is said to be out of band, right? What we call it, out of band, means we have a separate TCP connection for sending the control information, and I've already explained what a control information contains, right? In contrast, just to understand out of band, in contrast to this, HTTP is said to be in band. I mean, why? Because it sends the control information in using the same connection. So in contrast to FTP, HTTP is, that we have just discussed, HTTP is basically in band. In band means what? In band means that it sends its control information on the same connection, and we call it out of band FTP. Why? Because we have a separate TCP connection that is used to send what? That is used to send the control information separately from the data information. And also the FTP server needs to maintain the state about the user, right? Where HTTP was stateless protocol, here the FTP is to maintain the state of the user. So that's why we also call it what? Stateful, right? In contrast to HTTP.